So fortunately, I've never worked in a job which has been sort of tied to a particular fund or a particular income stream. But I know, Age UK, I think Asthma, and possibly even at Girl Guiding, I think though when I joined those three organizations, they've almost just had or recently had redundancy um, rounds. So that obviously impacts on staff, and I suppose that, the longer you stay in an organization, you probably see that kind of cycle of maybe every sort of 3 4 5 years you get the sort of redundancy. And again, it maybe have been kind of because of the sort of the financial crisis, and it wasn't necessarily Brexit, but like that, obviously COVID had a big impact on a lot of charities, the available income, and so sort of hard decisions had to be made. So I'm sure there are some roles, particularly if you're fundraising or in some sort of yes, in some roles, there's probably a greater sense of a concern around making sure you're meeting your targets, you're really justifying your role. I mean, I was in my first role, I was made redundant, and I think it's because I think if hard decisions have to be made, sometimes you sometimes feel actually as risk compliance is not at a corporate level. You understand, it has to, we have to make sure we've got processes in place and risk management and all the rest of it. But if a company was looking to make savings, you kind of think, oh, risk teams are potentially expendable. I don't know. I've not experienced that, but I don't think we're not so kind of, it's not like HR or finance. I sort of feel like if really really hard decisions had to be made, would my role or role of the risk manager or whatever, could that be sort of looked at as, do we really need this role right now? It's not something I've ever experienced or ever had. Well, I mean, my first job, but it's not something that I worry about really, or is ever kind of. And I don't really hear other people worry, and other people I know in the sort of risk, sector is not a concern. But like I said, I think for maybe other roles where you're reliant on funding from, or fixed period of funding for like a year or 6 months or whatever, and that potentially is probably more of a concern.